This is for MJ fans and MJ fans only.
I want to go to Michael Jackson concert. I wish Michael Jackson didn't die.
One month after the release of Michael, the reactions from fans still had not faded. Usually, movies slowly disappear from conversation. After a few weeks, people move on to the next trend, the next song, the next big release. But this time felt different. Scenes from the film continued spreading across social media every day. Certain clips collected millions of views repeatedly, especially the rehearsal scenes, the performances, and the quieter emotional moments where many viewers felt Jaafar Jackson seemed to disappear completely into. Some fans returned to theaters a second or third time simply to experience the emotions again. Others admitted they were still thinking about the movie days later, long after the credits ended. What surprised many people most was not only the film's success, it was how deeply it affected people emotionally. Across social media, older fans began sharing memories of watching perform when they were young. Younger viewers said the movie finally helped them understand why he meant so much to millions of people around the world. In some first time, after watching the film together, videos appeared online, showing younger audiences reacting to songs like Man in the Mirror, Human Nature, and Billie Jean with the same wonder earlier generations once felt decades ago.
Okay.
He's sad. Mine's sad too.
Oh, honey. It's okay, baby.
He's so sad.
It's okay.
Oh my god. So sad. I want to give him a hug.
Oh, honey.
I want to give him a kiss too.
Oh, that's very sweet, baby.
Oh my god, I love you.
Why you sad? What's wrong? It's okay. Tell me why you sad. He passed away, baby, but his spirit is still alive. Okay. You like Michael Jackson? Yeah. It's okay.
Slowly, the movie became more than entertainment. It became a bridge between generations. And then, something unexpected started happening. People did not only praise the film, they started asking for part 2. Again and again, the same comments appeared online. We are not ready for this story to end. Some fans wanted the later years of Michael's life explored with the same emotional honesty and care. Others simply wanted to hold on to the feeling the movie gave them.
Oh my God!
But beneath those requests for a sequel was something even deeper. People were not only asking for another movie, they were asking to hold on to a feeling a little longer. Because for many viewers, Michael awakened emotions they thought had faded years ago. Excitement, connection, wonder. For a brief moment, it felt as though people stopped arguing online and simply remembered someone who had once united millions through music, performance, and emotion. His expectations without ever seeming desperate to impress people. That restraint became part of why audiences respected him. He never appeared to perform as though he were trying to replace. Instead, he seemed focused on honoring him carefully, almost gently, while still remaining his own person underneath the performance. Fans noticed that humility, and perhaps that humility is what made the portrayal feel emotionally real. Because grief is delicate, memories are delicate, and when people deeply love someone they have lost, they protect those memories carefully. Jaafar seemed to understand that responsibility. The movie reminded many viewers of something important. Sometimes art does more than entertain. Sometimes it reconnects people to forgotten parts of themselves. A song can reopen memories people buried years ago. A performance can awaken emotions people thought had disappeared. And a story can remind the world that even after loss, beauty can still continue in unexpected ways.
For you and for me and the entire human race. For you and for
That may explain why audiences connected so strongly to not simply because he resembled, not simply because he learned the movements or performances, but because many people felt he carried a familiar softness, kindness, and emotional sincerity that reminded them why they loved Michael in the first place. And perhaps that became the most emotional part of all. The world lost in 2009. Nothing can truly replace that loss. But life sometimes offers quiet reminders that inspiration, love, and humanity do not disappear forever. They continue through memory, through music, through the people inspired enough to carry the light forward. 1 month later, that is why audiences were still talking about the movie. Not because they had simply watched a film, but because, for a few emotional hours, many people felt connected again to something they thought the world had lost long ago. And they were not ready to let go of that feeling yet.
Welcome back to Truth's Verdicts. Today we are talking about the king of pop, the greatest music icon of all time, Michael Joseph Jackson, popularly known around the world as MJ. Grab your copy, sit down, relax, because this one is not just another celebratory story. This is a story of a man whose music changed the world, whose kindness touched millions, whose life was filled with pain, misunderstanding, and greatness all at once. Special credit to the Stitches video used in this documentary.
I walked out of this movie feeling like I was 10 years old again, and I was not ready for that. I saw the Michael Jackson biopic last night, and when I tell you this film is outstanding, I mean it is outstanding. Before anything else, if you plan to see this film when it arrives in theaters on Friday, do yourself a favor and do not let anyone, anything, especially social media, ruin this experience for you. This film does an incredible job of humanizing Michael Jackson. It takes you from his childhood all the way through his career, and it reminds you that he's a human being, not just a larger-than-life figure. It explains his childlike spirit and the things that people used to call weird, and it gives us understanding. But for me, it took me back to my childhood, and my inner child was so happy. I remember the first time I saw Michael Jackson moonwalk. I remember Billie Jean and the sidewalk lighting up with every step. And all of those moments came rushing back as I watched this film. Now, let me tell you about Jaafar Jackson. That young man understood the assignment. He executed and he exceeded expectations. Just go ahead and shine off his Oscar right now. There were moments where I felt like I was literally watching Michael Jackson. He looked like him, he sounded like him, he moved like him, he danced like him. Jafar's level of commitment in his performance was unreal. And let me take a moment to give a shout out to Nia Long, because she did her thing as Catherine Jackson. You could feel the love, the protection, and the balance of a mother trying to pour into her children in a household that did not always make space for that. And Coleman Domingo, sir, you did not leave ne'er crumb on the plate. And I am thoroughly convinced that if Joe Jackson could come back from the hot place to have a conversation with you about the way you depicted him in this film, he would. But one of the biggest things that this film highlights is Michael Jackson's heart. His heart was bigger than his talent, and that says a lot. And the performances were absolutely amazing. I left out of that theater regretting the fact that I never had the opportunity to see Michael Jackson perform live. Now,
okay, so I'm going to start this review by addressing the controversial critic and audience scores on Rotten Tomatoes that have caused social media to be in complete chaos and havoc for the past few days. Ladies and gentlemen, there is an old saying that goes, two things can be true at once. And in this particular case, guys, when it comes to this particular movie and this particular musical biopic, that is most certainly the case, because I can see both sides. I can most certainly see why there are plenty of reasons to say that this movie is absolutely exceptional. But there are also plenty of reasons to question whether or not if they were ever going to tell some sort of story in this movie, or just go over straight details of Michael's life and minor details at that, and just play an entire music video. But at the same time, there is one thing I hope we all should be able to agree on walking out of this movie theater, and it is the fact that Jaafar Jackson gave all of us the opportunity to experience Michael Jackson on the big screen. That was not no Jaafar Jackson I was watching. That was a Michael. That was hip. That was so much Michael Jackson, the glitter was glittering off the damn screen. That is most certainly him. If there's anything we all should be able to agree on, it's that boy was iconic. He killed that performance. The way I'm going to go ahead and break down my thoughts and feelings towards this movie is that I'm going to start with the good, or shall I say, the great, in my opinion. And then we're going to go to the not so good or the not so great, in my opinion. So, starting with the great, as I said, the performances in this movie, or the performance that we all came to see from Jaafar Jackson as Michael Jackson, is nothing short of absolutely outstanding. It is astounding the way this brother made me feel throughout this movie, pun and frick intended. This boy was bad to the MFing bone. It was honestly scary at times how resemblant of Michael this brother was. Now, I will say, when Jaafar Jackson first came on screen and he first uttered his line as Michael, as the older Michael Jackson, it was like, Q, I want to be different. I want to be older. I want to be a real boy, or whatever he said. I was like, oof. I was like, rough start. Okay, let's try this again. But as the movie continued, as every single clip kept going by and you kept just watching all the recreations of Michael's videos, Michael's songs, all of just Michael's mannerisms, his dancing, everything that made Michael Jackson who he is, Jaafar Jackson became that. Jaafar Jackson went beyond that and literally stepped into the body of Michael Jackson. It got scary at times how good he was. But I will also credit the young man who portrayed the young Michael Jackson, because from the jump, boy, I thought they recreated the young Michael Jackson somehow, because that kid from the very jump was the younger Michael Jackson. He was absolutely fantastic. That boy got a future. That boy has a future in Hollywood because he was phenomenal. As far as Coleman Domingo portraying Joseph Jackson, ladies and gentlemen, how do you think he did? We all knew he was going to kill that role from the moment we seen that picture of that brother sitting at that damn table telling them boys, y'all going to sing. Y'all want to be in a coal mill for the rest of your lives? I mean, my goodness, Coleman Domingo. Jaafar Jackson and Coleman Domingo gave Oscar-worthy performances in this movie. I truly believe they gave nominational-worthy performances in this movie. Every ass whooping that Coleman Domingo gave out, I felt like I was next. I mean, it can't get more real than that. Coleman Domingo was terrifying, and I loved the terrifying, haunting, traumatic dynamic between Jaafar and Coleman as Michael and Joseph Jackson throughout the entirety of this movie, because it is the true soul and heartbeat of this movie and the story that they're trying to tell, and we'll get to that in a second. But as far as the performances go, they're absolutely outstanding. I think I would still prefer American Dream Joseph Jackson over Coleman Domingo, but it's only because the dialogue favors American Dream Joseph Jackson a lot more than the dialogue in this movie serves Coleman Domingo. Because if you give Coleman Domingo the American Dream type dialogue or anything a little bit deeper, Coleman Domingo, it's not even close. Not even close. But Coleman Domingo was sensational. I thought Nia Long was really good. I thought the actor who portrayed Bill Bray, Michael's security guard, was outstanding. I thought Miles Teller was fantastic. I thought that the guy who portrayed Quincy was really good. Like I said, the performances in this movie are very good. I do think, however, outside of Jaafar Jackson, Coleman Domingo, and probably I would say the guy who played Bill Bray, everyone else's role in this movie is extremely limited, and they honestly repeat the same beats throughout the movie. But as far as the performances go, they're very good. And the music, I mean, do I have to really comment on the music? Y'all know how the music is. You've heard it all before. It's apt, but to hear it and experience it in this matter, in this type of format, on a big IMAX movie theater screen, in a room full of Michael Jackson fans, that's a one-of-one type of experience.
I'm fresh out of the theater. I just got out of an early screening for the Michael Jackson biopic with Jaafar Jackson in the titular role. I was looking forward to this movie for the longest period of time, and I'm finally happy that we have it here today because this is a damn solid biopic. I highly, highly enjoyed myself from start to finish watching this movie. It truly does keep you invested in the life and the upbringing of Michael Jackson. And you immediately, I know what you guys are asking, how does Jaafar Jackson do as Michael Jackson? He kills it. He kills it in the role. Like you don't see, oh, that's just his nephew doing that. Like, no, it seems like you're looking at Michael on the screen from start to finish. What the way his mannerisms, the way he spoke, the way he was able to recreate those iconic performances and dance moves and his singing as well. Overall, he was top notch in the role, and he truly did earn that role. All of the performances in the movie were phenomenal, in my opinion. In particular, Coleman Domingo as Joe Jackson. I knew he was going to kill it the day that he announced he was going to take on the role, and he absolutely destroyed that role. And the way they were able to do the makeup and prosthetics all around, it was top notch. The way they were able to do it for Michael and Joe, I thought it was just masterfully done. The recreations in particular of Thriller, and then there was a concert performance of Human Nature, I just thought were just true standouts. It was a joy to see those songs being performed on the big screen and just jamming with the audience to this music, because it's like, this is Michael Jackson at the end of the day. I will say the ending did leave me wanting to see more. It's like, no, I did not want this to end. I want to see more about Michael's life and explore it, but they could only do so much in one movie because Michael's life is so big and so expensive. You can only contain it for so much, and that's why they're going to absolutely need a sequel to tell all the rest of Michael's life. Now, it does play some things pretty safe, but that's because, you know, they had to reshoot and change some things from the third act of the movie to where it's just a completely different ending, but I'll give them the excuse for that. But all in all, man, this was a joy to watch. If you're a fan of Michael Jackson, you're looking forward to this, man, you will absolutely love and have a blast watching this. This is one of the better musical biopics that we have today, and I highly recommend you all check out Michael on the biggest screen possible with the loudest sound system possible, because you are going to be jamming your asses off watching and listening to those Michael Jackson classics in the theater.
And he was talking about your performance, and he started to cry.
I got so emotional because he became Michael on that screen. It brought tears to my eyes. He's incredible. Wait till you see it.
Jaafar is unbelievable. Matter of fact, I think he's the only one that could have done this.
The emotion that it brings out in your uncles and your other family members is amazing and beautiful. How does that make you feel?
It makes me emotional. I remember when they first saw the screen tests, I got a call from each one of them individually, and even my Uncle Tito, rest in peace to him, and I just remember them getting emotional on the phone. I started to cry just hearing it from the words, because to me that's the truest and the highest compliment I can get as far as who I want to hear from, the people that knew him closest, and those are the, you know, they're the ones I looked up to as a kid, and to hear how proud they are, how much support I have from them. First and foremost, my grandmother. Who couldn't be more proud? And that makes me the happiest I can possibly be.
I think that my father is probably one of the most misunderstood people out there, and I hope that you get a glimpse into the life and the cause and effect that made him who he was. I know when I finished reading the script early on, for me, it felt like a culmination of who my dad was, because I had heard these stories growing up that he had told me himself or that other family members had shared with me. And to see it packaged in a way with it's like a beginning, middle, and end, it made me closer to the story in a way. Also, just having the benefit of reliving it with my cousin on production or in production on set was a really, honestly, a therapeutic experience, and one that I'm eternally grateful for. The first time that I saw him in person in his hair and makeup was really an emotional shock, because I had not seen my father in a long time, and to see him, Jaafar just embodied him and brought him back in that moment. And it was difficult to maintain and keep composure, because I really just wanted to give him a hug in that moment, but I had to tell him, like, Jaafar, I'm proud of you. You're going to do great, but I need to take a little step outside.
Michael Jackson was not just an entertainer. He was a movement, a global phenomenon, a once-in-a-generation talent whose voice, dance move, and message united people from one race, culture, and country. Even years after his passing, this war still mourn him. And now, the new Michael Jackson biopic movie is bringing fans closer than ever to understand the real man behind the spotlight. Michael Jackson sang songs about love, peace, and unity. Songs like Heal the World, Man in the Mirror, We Are the World. While more than music, they are messages. Michael believed the world could become a better place if people simply cares for one another. What many people do not know is that Michael Jackson donated over $500 million to charity during his lifetime, more than almost any entertainer in history. His art was bigger than his fame. He visited hospitals, helped sick children, support humanitarian causes, and used his platform to inspire hope. While many celebrities chase fame, Michael Jackson chased purpose. But behind the legendary performance was a man carrying deep emotional pain. The biopic movie takes viewer back to where it all started, from the Jackson 5 era to the peak of his superstardom in 1980s and beyond. The movie shows how Michael suffered pressure and abuse as a child. His father pushed him hard, treated him more like a money-making machine than a little boy who needs cares and love. Michael lost his childhood while entertaining the world, and when he finally becomes an adult, he tried to reconnect with the childhood he never truly had. Many people misunderstood this part of his life. The media often portrayed him in crude and damaged ways, spreading rumors and creative narrative that made the public see him differently. This movie reminds viewers that there was another side of Michael Jackson, the human side, a man who wanted peace, a man who wanted love, a man who wanted to protect children because he knew what it felt like to lose innocence too early. One of the most shocking parts of the movie is the incredible performance by Jaafar Jackson. Jaafar did not just play Michael Jackson, he became Michael Jackson. From the voice to the dancing moves, from the facial expression to the stage presence, his performance is so accurate that many fans felt like they were watching my MJ himself on the screen. The energy, the emotion, the magic, it's all there. Jaafar Jackson acting is exceptional, emotional, and powerful. He captured not only Michael's talent, but also his pain, vulnerability, and humanity. This movie has made many fans emotional because it reminds the world of what was lost when Michael died. For many viewers, it felt like seeing Michael alive again. Another major lesson from the movie is how dangerous media narrative can be. For years, Michael Jackson became one of the most criticized celebrities on earth. The same world that celebrated him also turned against him. The film explored how rumors, lies, and public judgment affect his mental and emotional health. It challenged audience to ask an important question. Did the world truly understand Michael? Or the world only believe what headlines told them? Michael Jackson's story teaches us several powerful lessons. First, fame does not protect people from pain. Second, children need love, not prayer. Third, kindness matters most than success. And finally, the world should be careful about destroying others with rumor before knowing the full story. Michael Jackson wanted to give his children the love he never received growing up. Unlike his father, he wanted his children to feel safe, protected, and happy. That alone tells us how deeply this childhood affected him. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Michael Jackson was misunderstood by the media? Did the world treat Michael Jackson fairly? And after watching the biopic, do you believe Jaafar Jackson successfully became Michael Jackson on the screen? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Truth Verdict for more powerful story, documentaries, and deep breakdown that media will never tells you. Turn on the notification bell so you will never miss our next upload. And remember, legends never truly die. Michael Jackson's music, message, and legacy will live forever.